Hello AWS friends. In this lesson let's have a look on how to install WordPress on AWS. We're gonna do this in two different approaches. The first one is the easy and fast one. We're going to use a prepared marketplace machine image for WordPress, and the second one a little bit more difficult. We're gonna launch a EC2 instance, Amazon machine image, and install WordPress ourselves. So as usual, you find all the information for this lesson in my GitHub account. You can find the link in under the video, and let's have a short overview what we're going to do. So the first approach is to installing a marketplace machine image, as I said, and the second one we're doing after this, gonna install all the required software on our own instance. So let's get started with the first and easy and fast approach. Let's launch a new instance, and we're gonna select here in the marketplace a WordPress image, and I'm going to select the first one. Be aware, if you use a marketplace machine image, they're gonna cost you some bucks in the month. It's not this much, but you should always be aware of this, depending also of course on the machine image size you're going to select. I'm gonna select the T2 small instance right now. I don't have to do anything on this page here. I'm gonna add one tag, a name. I'm going to use an existing security group. And I'm going to use my existing keeper. I'm launching this instance in Ireland. And that's it basically. So the instance is launching. Gonna take 2 or 3 minutes. And once our image is prepared and our machine is launched, I'll be back in a minute. So our instance is ready. Let's have a look. Just have to copy the public DNS address and see if our WordPress is ready. And yes, that's it. And just one more sentence on this one. You need a username for the master login, for the root login, and you're gonna find this in the system log for these marketplace machine images. And as you can see here in the system log, there you can find the user and the password. So this was the first approach, pretty easy. So for those of you who don't wanna have too much work installing WordPress, you can go this way. Now we have a look on the second approach, and we're going to install WordPress on our own EC2 instance. Now let's have a look on the second approach. We're going to launch an EC2 instance and install the required software for WordPress. And as you can see here in my README file, there's also useful Amazon documentation about installing LAMP. This means Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, and also a user guide to install WordPress. We're gonna do one thing a little bit different. You can install also the database. We're using MySQL on your EC2 machine, and this is the M here in LAMP. But we're going to use RDS from AWS to have a different approach, and to also have a look on these RDS feature from AWS. But you can feel free to install your MySQL database on your EC2 instance, of course. We're going to start to launch our MySQL database, because it's gonna take some minutes until it's ready. So let's create a database, and we're going to select MySQL, I'm going to use a production MySQL. So we won't need a large or extra large instance. So for this tutorial, I'm gonna select a small one. And also for this tutorial, general purpose is pretty fine. So estimated cost for this instance. And let's create a master password. What I'm gonna pick. Oh, we need a instant identifier and also a username. We're gonna install the database in our default VPC. Actually, we don't need public access. We just gonna access from our internal EC2 instance, but I'm gonna keep these values on default for now. Same with the name. Port is always 3306 for MySQL. And we're gonna keep this backup features on default. And now let's create the database. And this is gonna take some minutes to launch, as I said. And once the instance is ready, we can grab the endpoint from our instance, but it's not yet ready. So let's have a look. This instance is on create status. And the important thing to remember at this endpoint, we're going to have to enter this in our WordPress installation page, and this is not yet ready, so we're going to come back on this in a minute. So let's switch back to EC2 and let's launch our EC2 instance. So I'm going to launch this Amazon Linux MachineImage. I'm going to select T2 small instance, and now the important part, because we don't want to install all these software on the console, I'm going to paste this script in this text field, and this means all these commands are going to be executed on launching the instance. Let's have a look. So we're going to install the Apache and PHP. You're going to download this WordPress zip, and we're gonna clean it up after we have it installed. And then I'm going to copy this htaccess file from my S3 bucket, which is public, so you can also execute this command. We're gonna copy, or we're gonna move this file in this directory, and then we're going to start the Apache. So next is storage. Keep everything on default. I'm gonna add one tag. This is WordPress EC2. I'm gonna use the default security group. Feel free to create your own security group. And now, final step, select my key pair for Ireland. And now the instance is launching, and I'm gonna pause for a second. So our instance is ready. It has launched. Let's have a look if our script did work, and if so, we should already see a WordPress installation page. Here it is. We can start by yet. We have to enter these values, and for this we're going to need our MySQL endpoint. So if you choose to install your MySQL database on your EC2 instance, you can keep this with localhost, which is also not a bad idea because it's cheaper than the RDS MySQL version I just launched. But this is just for demonstration purpose, so how to launch a RDS MySQL. Feel free to install your MySQL Community Edition on your EC2 host and then keep with localhost. For us, as you remembered, we were installing our database and here it's still in state modifying, but let's have a look if we already have a endpoint. And here it is. As you remember, last time we have a look on here, it was not yet ready, so I'm gonna copy this. I'm going to enter this as the host, and these values were all my name and DB. And now let's see if we can submit this, depending on if the database is already ready. So this took a while. I had to pause the video for a minute, and now we have a last step. We're gonna have to enter this in our wp-config PHP. So we have to connect to our instance. I'm gonna paste this command in here, and now I'm connected to this EC2 instance. So first we're gonna switch to the Apache directory, and let's have a look what's in there. Okay, so we're going to need this file, and I have also, as you can see here in my README, this command. So let's enter this created file, and now we have to paste this configuration in here in our editor and write it out. And that's it. Let's one more time have a look. Now our wp-config PHP is ready. And now let's run the installation. I'm gonna keep this password. Hard to remember, but I won't need it anyway. And here we go. And now our WordPress is ready already with my configured name, and you can start to create your content. So that's it for now. We saw two ways to launch WordPress on AWS. First, a pretty easy one. The second one a little bit more difficult with some scripting, and also a different approach with a external MySQL database on RDS. I would recommend, if you don't have any too big database size, keep with your MySQL instance with your community edition on your EC2 instance. You can find the how-to also in my README. So just have a look on the Amazon documentation for installing MySQL on EC2, and then you got it. So hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next lesson.